Hello again, I am Professor Sudhir Bisht and I teach business marketing to the students of Delhi Technical Campus or DTC in Noida. This is an esteemed college under Guru Gobind Singh IP University. In today's lecture, we will talk about what is meant by the industrial product mix. In the first year, we studied about the product mix of all the products, but normally we focused on consumer goods. Here we will talk about industrial product mix, not very different from the consumer product mix, but with some nuanced variations. We will also talk about what is meant by product strategy and what is the product life cycle of an industrial product. We will also talk about the product life cycle in international business. These are all concepts which are old, but they have been crystallized and they have been organized in a structured format only now. Just a reminder that till now we have studied in this course of business marketing, or we also call it B2B market. B2B marketing is what is meant by industrial products, what are the various types of industrial products, what are the various types of industrial customers, how is the industrial market, how is industrial marketing different than the normal consumer marketing, or how is B2B marketing different than B2C marketing. We have also covered till now as to what is meant by segmentation, targeting and positioning in industrial markets. So today let's start by understanding what is meant by industrial product mix. Also we will cover today core competencies of industrial products. Core competencies of industrial products. I will also explain to you the fine definition which was given to this concept of core competence by Professor C.K. Prahlad and Professor Hamel, and we will do product strategies. Also, I will be covering two techniques. One is called product evaluation metrics and the other is called product perceptual techniques. These are two techniques which help a marketer to decide as to what exactly the marketer should do with his products, with his existing products. Not the new products, but the existing products which are already on the run, which are already in existence. So this is how this lecture is structured. I hope you will like it. Before I start the product mix, the length of product mix and the breadth of product mix, I want my students to understand two important concepts in industrial market or in any marketing. Every product, as I said, has some attributes. Product attributes means the characteristics of the product, something which is caused by the product, something which the product does, something which is felt about the products. That is what we mean by attributes or characteristics. So there are two kind of attributes. One is called the determinant attributes. Once again, I have written it in this slide. Determinant attributes. Determinant attributes are those attributes which actually make a customer decide if he's going to buy that product or if he's even going to consider buying that product. Okay. So there are the determinant attributes are important attributes. Important means they must be there in that product. Otherwise that product is not going to be sold. And second is differentiating. Important characters should be there, but how that particular product or that particular brand or that particular service offering, how is it different? How is it different than the other brands? To give you an example, in 2002, Esso Petroleum or Exxon Mobil used to offer at very attractive rates engine oil to many workshops. Okay, so what are the important attributes of an engine oil? Important attributes of the engine oil are they must match the specifications which is meant for the automobile. For example, if there is a tractor workshop, which is, let us say there is a Mahindra tractor workshop or Swaraj tractor workshop, the Swaraj tractor the lubricant which Exxon Mobil was offering, it must be either recommended or approved, or that grade must be approved by Swaraj Tractors or Punjab Tractors Limited. So this is very important. Second thing is, it must be, the price must be reasonable for the, because it's an industrial product, in the sense it is being sold to a workshop owner, so he cannot pay a price which is remarkably different. Okay, so this is an important attribute. Third important attribute is that the supply should be on time. It should not happen that when the product is needed, when the grade of engine oil is needed, it is not there with the company. Fourth is, there must be some credit facility given to him. So these are important attributes. Normally the workshop owners would like to have 1 month credit. They will like to enjoy 1 month credit from the distributors. But except if the brand is as good as Castrol, which does not typically offers credit. So, but what is the differentiating attribute of the offering by Exxon Mobil in 2002, where I was working as an area manager of that company, as a CVL coordinator for the northern region. The differentiating attribute is based upon the volume which the workshop will buy. We were also offering them a scheme in which we were giving them free equipment, any equipment of their choice, which will help them in performing their duties in the workshop. So this was a differentiating factor, and it was normally they would buy a capital item. Let's say they wanted some tools, they wanted a hydraulic lift or something, so they wanted us to part sponsor it. So we would sponsor it, but we would enter into a contract with them that we are giving this equipment to them. So they are duty bound, or they are commercially bound to buy minimum so many liters or kiloliters of oil from us. So determinant attribute. So this led us to tie up with some very good garages. Important attributes were there, and the differentiating attribute was this workshop equipment scheme. So this is determinant attribute, which has important and differentiating attributes both. Second is non-determinant attribute. Non-determinant attributes mean any attribute which is either important or differentiating, but not both. To explain it further, suppose I am offering a workshop equipment to a workshop, but the oil grade which I am offering is not approved by the tractor manufacturer. So my offering is a differentiating offering. I am offering a workshop equipment which no other competitor is offering, but my grade is not yet approved. It will not result in sale because the important parameter is different, right? So perceptual also sometimes marketers think that they are offering what they feel is a differentiating attribute. Okay, what they feel is a determinant attribute, but the buyer says, what is there in this? Everybody is offering it. What is there in this? Everybody is offering it. So if a marketer is, let's say, somebody who's selling a excavator, as you know, many companies are in the business of excavator, or let's say a black hole loader. You see a black hole loader which works, which you must have seen working in all construction sites. So there are many companies which are offering it. The JCB is the leader with 80% market share. JCB is the leader with 80% market share. So a new entrant has come in the market, and their representative goes to a manufacturing company, to a construction company, and says, we will offer you this black hole loader, or this dozer, or this tipper. All these are all construction equipments, and we will also give you a finance scheme in which we will only charge 1%. So this marketer is thinking that this is a determinant attribute he's he has come up with a set of determinant attributes, important as well as differentiating. But he does not know that just a few days before, similar offer has been made to the same construction company by the leaders, existing leader. So the new company may be thinking that it is offering what it thinks is a determinant attribute, which is important and differentiating. But the buyer may be thinking this is just a standard attribute. So I wanted the students to understand what is a determinant attribute, what are determinant attributes, and what are non-determinant attributes. So okay, let's now talk about what is meant by the product mix, or what is meant by product mix of industrial products. So product mix of industrial products is also the same as the product mix of consumer products. I have here in this slide, I am trying to give an example of a company which is called Sudhir Power Limited. I don't have any share in this company. Just because the name is Sudhir, don't mistake that I own this company. Yeah? It would have been nice to own a part of it, of course. So Sudhir Power Limited is a respected brand, at least in North India. Wherever I go, I find large industrial complexes have a heavy duty Sudhir genset. It's a Gurgaon based company. It's an unlisted company. It's a private limited company. So it has a, when I last checked up, their revenue was around 500 crores, which is a good revenue, sizable revenue. So it's a Gurgaon based company. So if you see the illustration I have made here, or the metrics I am showing here, they have 5 product lines. A product line, as per Kotler, it consists of all these products which are similar in nature, similar in characteristics. Maybe they are sold to the same customer, so there has to be some kind of a similarity. They are used in the same industry, or they are sold from the same counter, it's on the same distribution channel. They have the same they have the same set of customers. So you can say this is what is meant by product line. Like, for example, in case of let's take the case of consumer products, Amul. So one product line could be chocolates, one could be milk, one product line could be desserts, or something like that. So here there are 5 distinct product and service lines. Okay, so what are the various product lines? One is generator. So they have big generators, which is in partnership with Cummins. Second is they make aerial lifts. So this is second product line. So you can see all of this. So second product line is aerial lifts. They are the authorized distributors of JLG. JLG is a US based company, which is a very respected name in aerial lifts. And Sudhir Power Limited is the distributor of JLG for North India and West India. So this is second product line. Third product line they have got is power distribution. They are into power distribution, where they are selling various kind of transformers. Some are oil type, some are dry type transformers. They are also selling packaged workstations, substations. They are also selling high tension panels for the electricity line, and low tension panels. So this is third product line. Now if you see, each product line has products which are similar nature. They are in the same sphere of activity of the customer. So generators, which is partnership with Cummins, you will see it has got diesel gensets for home use. Then it has diesel gensets for commercial use. Then it has got diesel genset for industrial use. So commercial use is typically offices and all. Industrial is where there are factories. Diesel gensets for industrial use, and gas-based generator sets. This is the new addition, gas-based generator sets. On the aerial lift, they have got articulated boom lifts, which kind of take you vertically. Then they have got Caesar lift. Then they have some cherry picker lift. You can visit the website of Sudhir Power Limited, and you can find out more about their product. So they have stock pickers also. Then they have forklift, which are meant for rental. Okay, so all of this is second product line, aerial lifts. Third is power distribution, I have explained. Fourth division is there. Fourth business division or the product line is electrification. So what is meant by electrification is, now this is a service line. This is a service line. So they are into electrical contracts. So they take up contracts on a turnkey basis, and they also take large power projects. So this is fourth. And fifth is they have a solar division. What is there in the solar division? In the solar division they have photovoltaic solar modules. They also do EPC turnkey solutions, engineering, procurement and commissioning, okay, of solar projects. Then they have some what they call is grid connected utility, okay, and then they have off-grid industrial residential projects. So what is meant by grid connected utility means that they connect the solar system, the solar power system to the grid, so that you sell to the grid, okay. And off-grid means when the solar projects, they aim at helping the residential products. So I have explained to you 5 product lines. So what is the meaning of all these things? Product mix length. Length means all the products that a industrial manufacturer or marketer is offering. So if I start counting, so product line, the product mix length of Sudhir Power gensets is 1, 2, diesel gensets 1, diesel gensets for home use 1, diesel gensets for commercial use 2, diesel gensets for industrial use 3, gas based gensets 4, articulated boom lift 5, Caesar lift 6, cherry picker lift 7. So all of them have to count. So let me count it like this: 4 plus 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 20. Okay, I hope I have counted them correctly. 5, no, it's more than 20. 5 4s are 20, 22. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 4 4s are 16, 17. Yes, it is 20. So the product line length is, it has got 20 products. So all the products in all the product lines, if you count them, that makes it's a product line length. What is meant by product mix breadth or width? Product breadth or width is 5 of this Sudhir Power gensets. The width is generators 1, aerolift 2, power distribution 3, electrification 4, solar division 5. So number of product lines is the product width or depth. Once again, product line length is all the products under all the product lines. That makes it length. But all the product lines, number of product lines means breadth or width. What is meant by depth? Now depth is specific to each product line. So for example, solar division has got 4 products or 4 services. So depth of solar division product line is 4. Electrification product line has got 2 products or 2 services, electrical contracts and power projects. So depth of electrification product line is 2. So product depth of power distribution product line is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every product line's depth is calculated separately. And the last question, what is meant by consistency? Consistency of a product line means, consistency of a product mix means if the product lines are related or unrelated. Related or unrelated. So in this case we find that generators is there, then lifts is there, power distribution is there. These are not very unrelated products, but they are not so related also. Okay, for example, if you see the consumer product Amul, all their product lines are highly consistent because they all contain milk. They are made up of milk when we talk of Amul. So even if it is a ghee, even if ghee is a product line, butter is a product line, milk is a product line, dahi or yogurt is a product line, except chocolates, but chocolates also use milk. So they are highly consistent product lines. But in this case, generators and aerial lifts can be, they are similar, because they are used in both, they are used in industries, okay. But aerial lifts etc. are used in factories, generators also used in factories, okay. Power distribution is a separate product line. It is not related to really the factory, but it is related to transmission industry, okay. Electrification and power distribution are closely linked. Solar division is also closely linked to electrification and power distribution. So the product line is not very consistent, but it is not inconsistent either. So it has got a kind of a medium consistency. So this is what is meant by components of industrial product mix. What is the length, what is the breadth or width? Breadth and width are same thing. What is the depth and what is consistency? I myself struggle to find about to understand the exact meaning of these terms. So I thought I must explain in my video, count for you guys, and explain to you the meaning of all these terms. Okay, fine. So you have understood what is meant by determinant and non-determinate attributes, and you have also understood what is meant by product line, product mix, the length of the product mix, or the breadth or width of the product mix, depth of the product mix, and consistency of the product mix. So that means you now understand like what is a product and what are the various product lines. Okay, so let's now get into strategy. As I told you, strategy is a long-term perspective plan. Okay, which starts with the vision and mission statement of a company, and then it starts with the goals in the long term, and then it starts with the strategic intent. Then you prepare a strategy, a strategic blueprint, then you implement the strategy, right? And then you review the strategy. So this is what is strategy, right? So what is meant by product strategy? It is a product strategy means the ultimate vision statement of that product, long-term perspective of that product. Okay, so if I am making a compressor or a compactor, you know what is the compressor in a construction industry, that big road roller which you see. Okay, so what is the product strategy for this? What is my product strategy for this? Who will be the it deals with everything. Who will be my customer right now? Okay, who are we selling to? What are we selling? What are the value which we are providing to the customer vis-a-vis the value being provided by the other people? How to price the product? How to distribute the product? Okay, so this is all contained in product strategy. If you make, let's say you make X-ray machines, okay, or you making photocopiers for large offices, photocopiers or for offices, large offices. So who is your what is your target market? Okay, so you will segment the market. You will say, okay, for small offices there will be a different photocopier. Okay, for where it is, there will be a heavy duty photocopier for large offices. For shops or for business service centers, there will be a different kind of a thing. How will you price it? Who are the other people, who are the other? So Ricoh is there, then Canon is there, and then HP is there, and then you want to introduce this. So product strategy. Okay, so how will you price it? What are the other offerings along with this? So I explained to you determinant and non-determinant attributes. Everybody is selling a photocopier equally good, price is also the same. So what is the differentiating feature? Important plus differentiating, that makes it determinant attribute. Important feature should be there, and it should be a differentiating feature. So this is product strategy. How will you price it? How will you distribute it? Channel. Industrial products, when industrial lubricants are sold. I remember when I was in Indian Oil Corporation, all industrial lubricants, I'm talking till 1998, We used to sell it directly. We used to sell it directly. We had a technical services team, and we would sell. And even like I was in the retail function, I would sell this to, if I have to sell to Border Roads organization. Border Roads organization is a premium organization in India. They are doing a yeoman service. They maintain roads in the border areas. And they have projects like Project Deepak, Project Himang, Project Sampark. Project Sampark is in, Project Beacon is there. Project Sampark is in Jammu. Project, I think Beacon is in Kashmir and Srinagar, and Himang is in Ladakh. Like we have Deepak, the Project Chetak and Project Deepak. Deepak I think is in Himachal Pradesh, Chetak is in Rajasthan. I may be slightly here and there. Last time I worked there in 1998. But Indorama is a great company when it comes to technical sales or industrial sales. It had its own sales force in all divisional offices. But later on, I think they changed their strategy. They said we must start to sell through distributors also. So how do you distribute the products? Yeah, this is a product strategy. When will you change it? When will you upgrade a product? When will you upgrade a product? Okay, you imagine a company which is supplying air conditioners, window air conditioners to an office. And then the era of split came. So when do you start offering split to the office? When do you start and go with a proposal of offering a cooling tower, right, to the entire organization? So product strategy is a part of marketing strategy. Like the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. So product strategy it's a kind of a vision statement, ultimate vision for your product. You also need to be careful about the product life cycle. At which stage of product life cycle is your product? How will you know? Do you understand product life cycle? How do you know at which stage this product is in the product life cycle? It looks very tough. It's very easy. I'm actually reading a book, Business Marketing, by Krishna K. Havaldar, Professor Havaldar. It's a great book, and I've read many books on B2B marketing, but this is a very good book. I suggest to you should read this book. So this is what is meant by product strategy. Let's dive further. So I thought before I go deeper into product strategy, I want to explain once again, revisit a term called core competence, because core competence is at the heart of product strategy. In fact, if you ask me, core competence is at the heart of every enterprise. Even if the enterprise is an NGO, which is that even if it is a non-governmental organization, even if it is a not-for-profit organization, core competence is at heart of every organization. So the great Professor C.K. Prahlad and other Professor Gary Hamel, they gave a very good analogy. They said a diversified corporation is like a large tree. Okay, so a corporation is like a large tree, bada पेड़ है. So and they said a trunk and the major limb is that tana. The trunk and the trunk is that tana. And the major limbs means main branches. They are the core products. So a diversified corporation is a large tree, and the trunk and the major branches, they are the core products. The smaller branches are business units. And the leaves and the flowers and the fruits, they are the end products. Beautifully they have explained. So what is the core competence of a tree? They say the root system that provides 3 things. What are these 3? Nourishment, sustenance, and stability. They are core competence. So the root system is core competence. So can you imagine an organization, can you imagine a tree without a root system, it will not take shape, right? The only exception is banana tree. It does not have a root system. Do you know this? So, core competence has been defined as a complex harmonization of individual technologies and production skills. A complex harmonization of individual technologies and production skills. What do these things do? They make competitors difficult to imitate these things. So, a core competence means a combination of most important skills and knowledge to do something successfully better than competitors. You cannot be imitated. This is what a core competence is. For example, Cadbury has a core competence in making chocolates. Okay, Amul's core competence is milk production, milk distribution, milk packaging, supplying milk, converting milk product into various other products. And they are the best organization in the world when it comes to working in a cooperative system. That is their core competence. What is the core competence of Indian Oil Corporation? Their core competence is operations. Operations is the core competence of Indian Oil Corporation. Its refining can also be said a core competence, but operations, they're very good in operations. Their operating cost is very low. I can tell you in operations, Indian Oil Corporation is even ahead of Reliance. Not in marketing, in operations. Okay, so this is meant by core competence. So there are three tests or characteristics that can be applied to identify core competence. What is my core competence? How do I identify it? Number one, your core competence, it should make significant contribution to the benefit a customer perceives. So if a customer perceives that you are making a significant contribution, you means your products, your end products, if they are making a significant contribution to his operations, to his organization, then that is your core competence. Okay, so a core competence, it has an application which applies to wide variety of markets. So if Asian Paints, their core competence is distribution. Again, their core competence is distribution, and their core competence is their MIS, their marketing, their management information system. They can apply it anywhere. The first Indian company, a local Indian company to invest heavily into computerization and into ERP products. Third characteristic is that a core competence is difficult for competitors to imitate. It is difficult for competitors to imitate. Like it is very difficult. It is very difficult for any lubricant company in the world to match Mobil synthetic oil, fully synthetic oil, which drain period is 75,000 kilometers. So core competence, I wanted to, before I explain to you the core competence, I will also now give you some examples of core competence in the next slide. So just to explain to you by giving an example of what is meant by core competence, I have shown here a picture of a black hole loader. So what is a black hole loader? You can see from the picture. This is what is a black hole loader, and this is I have taken it from the website of jcb.com. So JCB is a British company, and its subsidiary in India is called JCB India, and it has many plants. I think there are 4 plants. So this JCB backhoe loader, it is not only India's #1 backhoe loader. it is also world's #1 backhoe loader. So if you have core competence in something, it's very difficult for anybody to dislodge you. So that is the importance of having great core competence. So what is this? This is the product of JCB's efficient design philosophy, the way they respond to today's rising fuel prices, because it is supposed to be the most fuel efficient backhoe loader in the world. So it is addressing the fuel price issue. It is addressing as a corollary the environmental concern, because of the efficiency and low running cost. Okay. In short, JCB has this JCB company, they have applied innovative technology to squeeze the absolute maximum out of every drop of fuel on this product, which is the backhoe loader. Okay. No wonder it has a 82% market share in India. 82% market share. Most fuel efficient, they say. And it beats big companies like Case, Tata's, Hitachi, Bull, Caterpillar, Escorts, Ace, Mahindra, Bobcat. So it has everything. It has everything for a construction company. It is everything for a construction company. So they have, what are the main products which a construction company needs? It needs an access platform. Access platform is, you rise and you go up. Access platform. Backhoe or loader, I have already shown you. Then it needs compactor. Compactor is like a road roller, which if you make a road, it needs to compact. Then it needs excavator. Excavator is something which goes deep into the earth and it excavates it. So, but in the civil construction segment, backhoe loader is the most important segment. So JCB has developed its core competence here. How it has developed is, not only it has product in several ranges. Look at the service aspect it provides. It has a care plus scheme for great service, and many people I have come across, they have confirmed to me that this is a very good scheme. Not only that, they also have a used equipment sale. So they have equipments which are older than 1.5 year. In construction equipments, it is the number of years as well as number of hours. So number of hours are always recorded. Just like in a car speedometer, the number of kilometers traveled is recorded, number of hours are recorded on these construction equipment. So it sells used construction equipments also, which are 1.5 years or 3,000 years older. Another set of equipments which are even 7 years older or 15,000 hours. They have run for 15,000 hours. And good thing about JCB India, they have got 4 plants and 90% of their production is indigenized. Okay, so this is what I wanted to explain to you, the meaning of core competence. You have developed not only the product, because core competence does not come always from product. It comes from product, services, after sales services. By that I mean your how well you understand the customers. There may be industrial customers who may want to have a used equipment. They may not be able to afford a new equipment, or there may be older customers who want to buy a new equipment. Then what do they do with the older equipment? So they sell it back to JCB. So core competence does not come in one day or in 2 days, or in 1 year. It takes several years, decades. A company adds to its core competence, and core competence always come longer the company, then it develops core competence, and when it has a management which is truly alive to the needs of the market. I can tell you from my own experience in B2B market, you need to be really, really, really close to the customer, individual customer. You must maintain data. You must maintain data on individual customers. When I was a B2B salesperson, I used to have a different register for a different customer. in which I would take notings every day. Of course, nowadays there are so many softwares which are available. There's so many ERP systems and what have you. You can have a closer control and you can be in touch with them every day. So unless you understand what the customer desires, what the customer really wants, you cannot have core competence. So in this slide, I'm trying to explain that if you have an existing product and you already, or you also have a existing product strategy, then what is it which demands a change in product strategy? So typically the author which I'm following, Professor Havaldar, Krishna Havaldar, he has mentioned four factors, and other books also, like Fred David, in terms of strategy, they have offered four broad factors which demand a change in product strategy. So I have mentioned them here. First is customer needs. So what does the customer want? Customer wants a new product. Okay, let's take the analogy of 90s. In 90s, not 90s, I think in the year 2000, the Supreme Court had said that the air pollution in Delhi, in NCR, needs to be minimized, and then it was decided that there Delhi will run Delhi Transport Corporation, which is the public sector undertaking of state of Delhi, which runs the buses in Delhi. They will run only CNG buses and not the diesel buses. So this was a major change. So now, who are the two major suppliers of trucks and buses in India? The chases. One is Tata Motors, which is the market leader in north and west, I think, and Ashok Leyland. Ashok Leyland is number one in south. So they had to bring CNG engine driven buses. Okay, so you can call it government policy, or you can, but the customer, the DTC demanded that they needed new buses. Now see the derived demand. So once you have oil, once you have buses which are powered by CNG engine, lot of things change. So those people who are supplying monograde lubricants, lubricant, the engine oil, they were supplying it for diesel oil. So they had to quickly develop an engine oil for CNG buses, for the CNG engines, isn't it? So customer need. Second is technology. How do we explain the concept of technology? Technology can be explained in terms of let us take the case of bitumen. Bitumen, it is called the coal tar coal in India popularly. So bitumen is used for road construction. It is used for servicing, for surfacing. You put it on the surface of airline runways or car tracks. So it has hydraulic applications also. It is also used in the canals. If you have seen water canals, for lining the canals, for riverbank protection. Lot of things it is used at, not just in roads, even for dam construction. Okay, so now it has industrial applications also, like roofing, and for printing inks also it is used. Sometimes it is used in electric cables also. So various grades of bitumen are offered. They were offered by all companies, including Bharat Petroleum. Let us take the case of Indian Oil or Bharat Petroleum. So the bitumen, what are the specification of bitumen? It is sold in terms of viscosity. Earlier it was sold in terms of penetration. Okay, so if there is a pin, how, with a particular force, how much the pin will penetrate into the bitumen layer. But now it is sold in viscosity grade 10, viscosity grade 30, viscosity grade 40. Depending on the application, different viscosity grade bitumen is produced. But now I remember somewhere around 1998, the concept of bitumen emulsion came into being. And it's a new product. The base is bitumen, but it's a bitumen emulsion. Bitumen emulsion is it's a bitumen which is dispersed in which is this water. It's a water bitumen emulsion. Okay, so most bitumen emulsions are water based. Okay, and what is the advantage of bitumen emulsion is, the main advantage is that it reduces pollution. Okay, because there is no heating. See, when you buy a bitumen, you see bitumen typically comes in a drum, 210-liter drum. In India, we call it a barrel, but a barrel is 159 liters. Typically, the drum which we use is 210 liters. So bitumen typically comes in drums. Then this drum is heated so that the bitumen can melt, and then it is used on the road surface. Now, bitumen emulsion, you don't need to heat it. Okay, so if you don't need to heat it, it reduces pollution. There is ease in handling bitumen because you can handle it at room temperature, and there is a reduced risk of burn and exposure to hydrocarbon fumes. So this is the example of second example of technology. A new technology has come and it has demanded a change in the product strategy. Please note that I am giving you only industrial goods example. I am not giving you a consumer sector example. Okay. Then third thing is government policies. What do we mean by government policy? Of course, I have explained government policy also in terms of the CNG buses. But like government has banned asbestos sheets, because asbestos sheets, asbestos is made up of certain fiber, and this gets inhaled and it kind of blocks the respiratory system, and it causes lung cancer. So government has banned this. So then if somebody is selling asbestos sheets, then they will have to find an application where there is very little interface. Of course, unfortunate aspect is, although government has banned use of asbestos, it is still being used. But that is a lecture for another day. Perhaps we will cover it in the segment of ethics. And fourth point is factors when there is a change of stage of a product in a product life cycle, isn't it? Product life cycle. For example, the best example which comes to my mind is in telecom, because I have worked in telecom industry also for some years. Earlier, copper wires, very expensive wires. Earlier, copper wires were used by the telecom cable to carry signals, under the ground. So we have to understand that products, they tend to go through different stages, and different marketing stages, they call for different strategies. So now copper wire has been replaced by, we call it OFC, or optical fiber cable. So a fiber optic cable, it comprises of, let us say, very thin strands of glass or plastic, very thin strands of glass and plastic, which is known as optical fiber. So one cable can have as few as, let us say, 2-3 strands, or it can have hundreds of them. But these optical fiber cable, they carry information in the form of data between two places using what is called, to explain it in a common man's language, which is called a light-based technology. And this fiber, it offers many advantages. The main advantage is that the bandwidth and reach is higher. So now optical fiber cables, they are now preferred over old copper telecom cables, because the OFC, or optic fiber cable, it provides high speed broadband services. It has many advantages. The optical fiber, the signal loss is very low, 3% over 100 meters, 3% over 100 meters. In case of copper, it can be very high. The loss can be in multiple times of 3%. So additionally, optical fiber cable, they are more long lasting as compared to copper wires, because copper wires tend to be fragile, and copper wires are also stolen. In India also, typically copper wires are stolen. So, and copper wires, they can be tapped easily, because but optical fiber, they do not radiate signals, so it cannot be tapped. Okay. And there are many other things. Optic fiber cable has lower latency. Then you'll ask me, what is latency? Latency is the amount of time required to perform a data transmission. Amount of time required to perform data transmission. It is called latency. So in optical fiber, the latency is very low as compared to cable compared to copper wires. But what I am trying to say is, once a substitute was found for copper K wires, then the companies which were in the business of offering cables to telecom industry, they switched to OFC. A lot of OFC optic fiber cable is produced in India. So I have explained to you what are the factors which demand change in product strategy. Which demand change in product strategy means existing product strategy. So let's quickly go through them. First is customer needs. I gave you the example of the CNG buses. So DTC demanded CNG buses. So Tata Motors and Ashok Leyland had to bring in CNG engines. Okay, then technology. I gave you the example of bitumen emulsion. Then government policies, as in the case of asbestos, and then product life cycle, which I have explained to you in terms of the copper wire in telecom. So I hope you have understood that what are the factors which demand change in existing product strategy. Okay, so we have discussed the product life cycle so many times in strategy, especially in case of existing products. This is a lecture basically on the existing products. The strategies for new products we will understand after I have gone through the process of new product development in industrial stage. So you have to hold your horses. So industrial product life cycle and strategies is almost the same as the consumer product life and cycles. Okay, as you studied in first year of MBA or in BBA, that PLC or product life cycle concept was introduced by American economist Raymond Vernon, and he said that products, they tend to go through different stages. Mind you, we are talking of products, not brands, product categories. So it's like, mobile phone is a product, Samsung is a brand. So we are not talking of the brand, the product life cycle of Samsung brand. We are talking of the product life cycle of the mobile phones or feature phones. So for example, motorcycle life cycle is something different than the life cycle of, let us say, Rajdoot motorcycles in India, or GTS, or ESD, or for example, the Rajdoot motorcycle in India is as good as dead. You don't find Rajdoot motorcycles. So does not mean that the product motorcycle has ended. So this is what I wanted to tell you. Okay. So what Raymond Vernon suggested, and a necessary corollary, is that different marketing strategies will be needed during different stages. So what are these 4 stages? Some people call it 5 stage, some people call it 4 stage, but essentially 4 stage: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So when some people say before introduction there is a stage called product development stage. Okay, and then they say decline. After decline there is something called abandonment. Okay, so you can have 5, but the gist is same, the spirit is same, the meaning is the same. Right. So what happens when a new industrial product is introduced? When it is introduced, for example, when photocopiers must have been introduced, so it must be lot of money is spent on telling people about what is this product, propagating about the product, going to the customers directly to say this is a new product, this is what it does as compared to the old product, or this is the need this is a need in the industry and this product meets that need. Okay. So it's an introduction stage. Who are the buyers? Buyers are very few buyers. So those who are early triers. So does company make profit during introduction stage? Unlikely. Some can make if the product is too novel and everybody laps it up. Unlikely that the company will make profits. So sales are slow to rise in the introduction stage, and company typically loses money on this. Then there is a growth stage. If the product idea succeeds, then there is a growth stage. In growth stage, you keep on investing money in this, and the market is rising. You can raise your price, you can make profits, you can start to make profits, good profits. But there is a catch. Once your product reaches the growth stage, competitors come in. The people who latch on to the concept, they come in. This happens all the time. When in India, for example, giving a consumer product example, when Maggi was introduced, was a runaway success, a lot of people came into the noodle market. So similarly, it is true. When JCB came in, the started extensively marketing their loaders in India. A lot of people came. Now this is a very crowded market, excavator market, for example. Okay, or the market for the lifts. When somebody produced the first lift, it had a near monopoly, but sooner or later many other people caught up. Or let us take the case of aeroplane. So when Boeing started in America, the Airbus also started a growth stage. So typically in a small, in less complicated stuff like aeroplane, let us take helicopters. There are many manufacturers, right? For example, in India, there are a number of marketers or providers. The service, with the election season, the demand for helicopters is going up, right? So growth stage. Then comes maturity stage, when things have stabilized and number of players are number of players are what they are, and after that a product comes to a decline stage. So you need to follow naturally different strategy. When the sale is rising, the market is demanding more and more, product is becoming more popular, naturally you would like to skim the market, or you would like to make profits, because in the introduction stage you made losses, isn't it? It's very natural. Every marketer with a thinking head, there is a particular time companies can make profit, and there is a particular time when companies need to incur losses. So let's understand this in more detail. A product life cycle is the length of a time from a product first being introduced to consumers or customers until it is removed from the market. So from the time it is produced till it is removed from the market. Okay. So product life cycles are managed by management professionals, CEOs, to help determine what should be the advertising schedule. Okay, what should be the price point? When should you expand the product to new market? Should you redesign the packages, and many more? Okay, so strategic methods of supporting a product are known as PLC management or product lifecycle management. Once again, the strategic methods of supporting a product during its life cycle, it's called PLC management. Okay, incidentally, PLC management also gives you an indication as to when do you need to introduce a new product. So let's take the case of typewriter. And typewriter, mind you, I'm saying it's an industrial product, because typewriters, who were using typewriters, of course they were also used by lawyers and their people, but they were used in the offices. Okay, and typewriters were used mainly by companies. Okay, industrial product, they were used by companies to type out things. So it was hugely popular, when it was introduced. I think it was introduced around 1880 or something, in the late 19th century, because it made writing easier and more efficient. So quickly moving it, after it was introduced, it reached the growth stage, and it reached the maturity stage, and then it started to decline. Why did typewriter decline? Because electronic word processors came, and computers came, and laptops came, and smartphones came. So there are still typewriters available. The product is now at the end of the decline phase, with very little sales. So typewriter, I will call typewriter a B2B product. It's not a consumer product at all. Okay, so I have explained to you the decline of typewriter. So what is the stage of desktop computers, laptop computers, smartphones and tablets? Because see, still largely desktop computers are still being used in offices, now in offices. So desktop computers, I will say they have reached maturity phase. They have reached the maturity phase, because more and more industries, companies are trying to provide laptops to their employees, and even old type of big desktops, they have gone now with flat screen, and all those light desktops are there. Okay, but smartphones are still in maturity phases. Okay, tablets are in growing phase, not in maturity phase. Tablets, smartphones, they are still in maturity phase, because remember, they may have reached maturity level in USA or Japan or Southern Europe or developed part of, but in some, like in Eastern Europe, in Middle East, Africa, Asia, other than Japan, there's still smartphones and tablet sales are still aspirational products for many, for many. So they are experiencing still growth. So I have explained to you typewriter, desktop. Let's take the example of electric vehicles. Electric vehicles are they are in introduction stage in our market. Okay, and every day you find that Hero Electric is now number one, now Ather is number one, now some other company is number one. So, and they will experience rapid growth stage. Huh? Although electric vehicles are not new exactly, but there is consistent innovation in the market. Consistent, every 6 months there is innovation, and it is improving the sales potential. This means electric vehicles are, can we say they are in introduction stage? Maybe they are slightly above introduction stage, and they will grow over next 15-20 years, electric vehicles, or maybe more, especially like two-wheelers. Okay, is there anything which is in all stages? Looks like. So let's take the services, like let's take artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, the AI solutions, they have been in development stage for many years, but there is continued development in AI. So there are many products that are still in market introduction stage of the PLC, and there are many which have been developed, such as like autonomous vehicle stage, or the AI stage in the autonomous vehicle. It is still being developed, and it is yet to be adopted. Okay, I have given these examples from a website called www.twi-global.com. I will mention a link. So I thought I should explain to you the concept of product life cycle in industrial products. So I hope you have understood it. We will also understand what is the product life cycle in international markets, and I will give you the example of photocopier there. So in this slide, let me try to explain to you the international product life cycle. This is how it is described, international product life cycle, because I think we should call it international product movement cycle, because how it moves. But anyway, so international product life cycle, I will explain it, and I've taken it from the YouTube video, and I've tried to explain. I've inspired by that example which has been given of a photocopier, and I have given the source here. So let's understand how the journey of a photocopier started. So photocopier was first introduced in 1960s by Xerox in USA. So its introduction stage is the new product stage. It is developed in a developed country, which is US. So normally innovations, product innovations, especially industrial products, it happens in countries which are developed countries. Developed countries are also developed in terms of product innovations, technical innovations, scientific innovations, new discoveries, whether it is in the field of pharmaceuticals or chemical industry. So the new product stages, it has been developed by US. The production is done locally in USA. For example, the Xerox photocopier, the first company to introduce photocopier was Xerox. Xerox photocopier machine came into 1960s. 1960s. Incidentally, when did the Xerox copier came into India? Almost 10 years later. Almost 10 years after that. Because then how were people doing photocopy of their mark sheets? A student who wanted to send his mark sheet, the students used to do, they will take the mark sheet to a court or a registrar's office. They will photocopy, they will type down the numbers, and they will put their stamp, or a gazetted officer will put their stamp. There was no concept of photocopiers, at least not for common use. Okay, so in 1960s, Xerox photocopier machine, it started, and they started to export from US. So where did they export? they started exports to Japan, which is another developed country, because cost of photocopier was very high, or to Western Europe, developed area. It did not come to India or China or Bangladesh straight away. So export started. This is from new product stage. Now this is internalization, internationalization of the product. Okay. So then we go to the growth stage. In the growth stage, in the 60s, around 70s, the product which is photocopier, it has firmly been established in the country of origin and in the country where it is being exported. Okay. So it's the photocopier market is firmly established. It's in the growth phase in US, in Japan, and in some rich European nations. Now, American company Xerox, it started opening production centers in other countries, but in developed countries. So Xerox went into joint venture, it went into subsidiaries, license arrangement. Why did they do it? To reduce the production cost and to improve the value chain. Very important, to improve the value chain. Not just supply chain, value chain. Chain comprises all the activities, the primary activities and the secondary activities. So what are the primary activities? Primary activities is inbound logistics, and then operations, and then outbound logistics, and then service and marketing. And what are the secondary activities? Like HR, technology development, all that stuff. So value chain improves when you open another production center which is nearer to the consumption center. Okay. So innovating country, that is US, it continued to improve the product features, and it imparted training and skill development in the new market. This is growth stage. At growth stage, imitators and copycats also entered the market. But like Xerox went into a collaboration with Fuji Films in Japan, and Rank Xerox was the joint venture in Great Britain in the 70s. So 60s Xerox, 70s JVs in production in other countries, including JVs, including exclusive arrangements. In 80s, in 20 years time, the patent was over. So when the patent was over, at that time new companies will start to develop. Okay. So from growth stage, the production, the growth stage, the product also started moving to the countries which were not so developed countries. This is a kind of a standardization stage. So production moved to countries where the costs were much lower, even lower than Japan and United Kingdom. So it started moving to Taiwan, Japan. From Japan, it started moving to Taiwan and Thailand, countries like that. Standardization of products became. Local workers in less developed countries, their labor cost was much lower. Okay, and the demand now in US has saturated, and even in Japan and Western Europe, it is saturating. So what is American company doing? It is investing in new product and new technologies. Whereas the production moved now, earlier it was only limited to US, then it went to Japan and Western Europe, or Great Britain or England, and then it has moved to Taiwan and Thailand. Okay. So also, see, 60s Xerox developed it. In the 70s, Fuji Xerox as a JV or Rank Xerox as a JV, but in the 80s the patent expired. So Canon of Japan, it entered the market. So by mid 80s, US started buying photocopiers from Japan. So it's a cycle. Meanwhile, Japanese manufacturer moved to Thailand and Vietnam. So eventually now US and Europe and Japan, they have become importers of photocopier. They are importing it from Thailand and Vietnam. Okay. Now, this is what is meant by the international product life cycle. And it was, again, this was also by Raymond Vernon. But this theory has some limitations now, because Raymond Vernon's theory, it postulated that, or it envisaged that most things originate in USA. Most technology, it is no longer valid. For example, the wireless phones, they emerged not in USA but in Europe. Okay, and today almost all products are being simultaneously launched in most countries, wherever whichever country has a critical mass of buyer. So irrespective of whether that country is developing the product or not developing the product, but it's an interesting cycle. How Xerox, how photocopier from US to Japan and England, from there to less developed or developing countries, Thailand and Vietnam. Okay, and now US has become a net importer of photocopier. Even Japan and Europe has become a net importer of photocopier. But US is now developing newer prototypes. Okay, it is making it will make still a better photocopier, a cheaper photocopier with more features, enhanced features, which is faster, but it will not have production in US because it will not make sense to have production in US. So this is international product cycle and the changing scenarios. So how do we develop the product strategies for existing products or established products? You know, we have studied the reasons behind development of strategy for product strategy, or change of strategy for existing products. Now, how do you develop product strategies for existing products? So it's basically a three-step process. It's a three-step process. The first is what is known as product evaluation metrics. In product evaluation metrics, we see where is our product in relation to four things. First of all, we see if the industry for the product is growing. Industry for the product is growing. Then we see if our sales are growing. If our sales are growing, and if our profits are growing, and what is our market share. So four factors. If the industry, overall industry is growing, in which our product is a part of that industry, then is our product sales are growing, if our profits are growing, or if they are on target, or if they are below targets, or what is our market share? Is it a dominant market share or is it a marginal market share? So this is called product evaluation strategy. Second is perceptual mapping technique. Perceptual mapping technique. In this we see on two factors. We see one factor is the quality factor, the quality of the product, and the second factor you can say is the service. I'm giving an example. So let us take in perceptual mapping, we take our competitors also. Where are our competitors in relation to the quality, and where are we? Where are they? What is the perception about their products in terms of service, and our perception in terms of service? So these are two things. And then the third thing is that based upon product evaluation metrics, perceptual mapping metrics, based upon that we decide about the product strategy, whether we should continue this, or we should eliminate the product, or we should modify the product, or which product line should be added, or which product line should be dropped. So I will explain these processes of product evaluation metrics and perceptual mapping technique in the next slide. So I will, before I explain the product evaluation metrics and perceptual mapping, I would like to say that based upon, it's very important to listen to the next two slides carefully, the lecture carefully, because based upon product evaluation matrix and perceptual mapping, you will have some options available whether you want to maintain or continue the product and the existing marketing strategy. Once again, whether you want to maintain or continue the product and the existing marketing strategy, or you want to modify the product, add some features, drop some features, or you want to change the marketing strategy. One is modify the product or modify the marketing strategy. This could mean that you would like to advertise it differently, you would like to package it differently. Number three is then you will also decide based upon product evaluation matrix and perceptual mapping whether you want to eliminate or drop the product or the entire product line. And number four, most importantly, you want to add new product or a new product line. So maintain or continue the product and the marketing strategy, modify the product and or change the marketing strategy. Number three, eliminate the product or drop the product or the entire product line, add a new product or product line. These will be determined after you have done product valuation matrix and perceptual mapping. Alright, so before we decide a strategy, we have to know what is the value of our product, where do we stand, isn't it? Are we in a dominant position or we are in an average position? So as I said, this is product evaluation matrix, and I have taken the example of JCB excavators. I have used their website to know about their products, and I have used other websites to know how their products stack up, okay, in terms of competition. So if you know, there are four factors we have taken. One is industry growth, if the industry is growing or not, that is one factor. Then there are three company specific factors, whether the company is growing, whether the company sales are growing or they are in stable state or they are in declining state. So three, the company sales, I have mentioned it over here, they are declining, stable or growth. Then company profitability, is the company making profit on this? The profit is below target, it is on target, or it is above target, right? So similarly, market share, whether it is dominant, average or marginal. So once you take these four factors, the industry, or which way industry is going, your sales, your profits and your market share, this you have to map your product here. Like if you see, I have mentioned JCB's black hole loader. I have mentioned it. It is, if you see, the industry is growing. The industry is growing by 20%. This is the data I have gathered from various websites. The backhoe loader, the industry is growing by 20%. So industry is growing, right? And JCB market share is 80% plus. So dominant market share. So I have placed it in the dominant category. The market share, the industry growth, market share dominant. Their profits are target. It's not obscene profit. They are making profits on target. Okay. And then is JCB's backhoe loader sales growing? Yes, they are growing. They are growing by 20% on par with the industry growth. So it's a very comfortable situation. Industry is growing, with the same percentage you are growing. You have a dominant market share. You are making targets. On the other hand, if you see JCB compactor, you know what is a compactor? If you see, which has got two wheels, basically big iron wheels, which is to compact. Sometimes it is called a road roller or something like that also. Here, the industry is growing at 8%. So I have taken industry is stable, growing at 8%. It is not declining, it is growing. Okay. JCB's market is only 11%. So it is a we can say it is a marginal player in an industry which is stable. 10-11% is marginal player. More than 30% we will consider as, you know, above average or dominant. And profits are on target. But sometimes in this case we can say profits are below target. I am assuming this. I don't have a data on this, just to uh, build it up. All forgiveness to JCB, just to build it up. Suppose the profitability targets on this product segment is below target, then I have positioned it in a square which is where the industry growth is stable, but the market share of JCB compactor is marginal. Sales are stable because the company sales are also growing at 5 to 6%. Market share is dwindling. Company share is not declining, and profits are below target. So once you must know where are you in relation to the competitors or others. Only then you can decide a strategy. Where do you want to go? So this product evaluation strategy, this product evaluation matrix, it was developed by Yoram Wind and Henry Claycamp. And this is a brilliant matrix which helps you know your position in the market. So this is the perceptual mapping technique. So there are three companies shown here: company A, company B, and company C. So I am assuming I am company A. And what you do is you would like to understand what is the perception of your product and your after sale service in the mind of the customer. It's tough to do it all by yourself. You can take the help of an external agency, a consultant, or a marketing research company, or a marketing expert, whatever. Or you could have an in-house expert also. So there are three companies, A, B, and C. For the sake of simplicity, we have shown here that the company B and C, they are perceived to be companies which are weak in service. So they are, on the x-axis is the service quality, and the y-axis is high quality. They are weak in service and they are measured high in quality. So weak in service and high in quality. Whereas from the survey which you do from meeting the customer, you come to realize that the perception is that you're very strong on service. You're very strong on service, which is a big advantage compared to B and C. But compared to B and C, you're perceived to be low on quality. So now you know that where do you want to go. So you want to maintain strong service, but you want to move from the quadrant where you are to the above quadrant where you are strong on service and strong on quality, so that you will be as strong or stronger in quality perception as competitor B and C are. And in any case, you are perceived to be very strong on service. So strong on service and strong on quality. This is how this is the perceptual mapping technique, and then you have to make a strategy accordingly for the existing product. There are several other things also. Should you eliminate the product? What should you? Okay. Sometimes product elimination, first of all, is the toughest thing, and I'll show it in the next slide, but I want to give an explanation here. Professor K.K. Havaldar says the toughest thing is to eliminate a product which you have built up over years. You have to consider some aspects. Will the customer relationships be affected if you eliminate the product? Will the customer relationship be affected? Will the profitability of your company will be affected due to change in overhead allocation? Because you see, your staff cost, the production staff cost or the sales cost, it is allocated over various products. Okay. So if you drop one product, naturally this allocation of that cost, where does it go? It adds on to the other. What will be the employee's reaction? I give you an example. There is a company which was selling very thick viscosity oil to particular garages or the workshops, and this thick oil, it was perceived to be very good. It was perceived to be very good by the workshop, because all the truck engines which used to come for servicing, you put that thick viscosity engine oil, the oil consumption would always become lower. Oil consumption will always become lower. When the company changed this oil with the oil which was less viscous, because the company had moved on in terms of technology which was perceived to be less viscous, so the employees, the salespeople who were selling this, they immediately said that, this will not be bought, because the unique selling proposition is it's a highly viscous oil. So the oil consumption, it doesn't burn off, or it doesn't gets diminished in the engine oil sump. You have to see that. What will be the impact of this product which you are going to eliminate on the other product? Because sometimes people buy in pairs. Would it impact the company's image if you eliminate a product? What will be the reaction of the competitor? But perhaps the most important aspect when you eliminate a product is whether you have a new product which is available, or which is in the final stage of development in place of the eliminated product, because the need or the want of the customer is still there. So these 6-7 points you need to consider before you go for product elimination. So with this I finish my lecture on the uh, product strategies for existing product. Thank you very much.